Hi everyone. This is a new series I'm going to start with is the what's called the problem solving for hand tracing, and this entire several videos I'm going to call it hand tracing table or tracing trace tables is what I. This material is not in your book, so this is material that when I learn it, this is how I learned looping. All right. And all the different loops that we had. So I remember doing loops when I was in an undergraduate course with us, and I thought this is how it should be done in learning loops and seeing actually what takes place in a memory. The key thing is for you to understanding loops is that when the loops takes place is actually what's taking place inside the memory. Remember now, the whole purpose of programming is memory management, correct? So this is in addition to your material to chapter 4 and chapter 5. You still have to cover that, okay? So, but I thought this is a good way for you to understand loops with it. So what I have done here is I have a while loop that I will want to demonstrate with you in the C++ code with this thing. You have some declaration and initialization of data of an end fires. I have n is 1729. The sum is initialized to 0. Remember now, anytime when you have things as initialized to 0 with it, in this case, like you're going to see here, that n is 1729 is greater than 0, which is a true outcome. You're going to go in here, you're going to plug in n in here. 1029 mod 10 is what? Is 9. Okay, that's going to be your remainder. But before we get too far with this thing, let me show you a couple of ways that I'm doing this. I have, of course, my notepad with this thing. I'm going to put this thing on the half of my screen. The other one I have is also I've turned on is also my Word document that I've already created this thing, and I would like for you to be a little bit more. I'm going to put this on the right side of this thing, so you can have both of these things going at the same time as we understand this thing. So here's the problem. Here's the hand trace table that you're looking at, and this is just a sample execution of what I'm looking for. So here's the hand trace table. Part of your lab that I sent out earlier had to do with something like this with it. So if you look at n is initialized at 1729, right? So go ahead and put in here 1729. This is what's inside of your n, correct? Your sum starts out with initialization of 0. Of course, your digits, you don't have anything in here, okay? So why don't I just go in here, I'm going to just insert in a few more rows at the bottom of this thing. Alright, so we have a few more spaces that we have in this thing, right? So just give us some rooms here. This is so you can see. So 1729 greater, this is true, correct? What is 1729 mod? Remember, mod is a remainder. 10 is what? Is 9, correct? Because if you divide 1729, 1720 will give you an even 1720 will give you a remainder of 0, and the remainder is 9, correct? So the digits in entering here is 9. Coming down here, this is now your new digit in this thing that you just gave it, right? You plug digit in this thing, and what's your sum? Sum is 0. 0 plus 9 equals your new sum is what? 9. Okay, so when you change the sum to 9, you have to go back in this cell, strike through it. Okay, so and then you take your n. What's n now? N is what? 1729 divided by 10 is what? Is 172.9 is your new n, right? 172.9. However, your n is an int. The int will do what? Will drop off the 0.9, correct? So what are you left with? 172. Are you with me? So this is what you have right now is your n now should leave you with is 172. So inside of this thing, you're going to strike through this one right here. I'm going to click on the strike through. This becomes 172 because the n is an int, and the int will drop off the 0.9. You don't use the 0.9. So technically, if I really wrote this like this, and it looks like this, because it's an int, it looks like this. Okay? Coming down to this thing, so your n is 172. It's still greater than 0. True. What is 172 mod 10? That's 2, correct? Is your digits in this. That's the remainder of 2. Do you see that? 170 with the 2 is the remainder, correct? You have to add 2 plus 9 equal to what? 2 plus 9, and the sum equals your new sum is now 11. So you need to go in here and strike through your digits, and your sum now are strike through with this thing. Your currently, you took your n, which is 172, divide that into 10 is what? Technically, it becomes what? 117.2, right? But it's an int, so we don't look at that. We just take the whole part, integer part only. It's 17. You with me? So plug in 17 into this again. True. What's your n? N is 17. Mod 10 is what? Is 7. Correct? So this is 7. You're going to strike this through. And then 7 plus sum is 11. 7 plus sum. 7 plus sum is 11. This becomes what? 18. Take your 17. Again, mod that with 10. What do you get? 17 mod 10. I'm sorry, 17 divided by 10 is 1.7, correct? It's 1.7, but it's an int, so you're going to take just the 1. Okay? So this needs to be strike through. So as this line needs to be strike through. Okay, you with me? Now, plug 7 into this thing and plug 1 into this thing. Still true, correct? What is your n now? N is 1. 1 mod 10 is what? Is 1, correct? So you strike through your 7, strike through it, and 1 plus 18, digit plus sum, now equals your new sum, equals what? 19. Okay, and then you take 1, in this case, divide this into 10, becomes what? And it's an int, so it's actually, it's a 0, right? It's a decimal number, but we just take this as a 0 because n is an int up here. So this is what you have right now, is your, and then you plug 0 back into the 0 is greater than 0, which is false. It doesn't do this. And outputs right now is the sum. And this is where the sum comes in, is you need to create another row. So I'm going to come down on this side right here. I'm going to insert another row, another column I should say, to the right. And this column right here, it's this column right here I would do 19, but technically this column is going to be called sum. Okay? Just a simple problem that you saw that I did this thing. That will conclude this particular demo of the hand trace.